Alright, Shalom, Rasharallah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and peace to the elect. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. Now the Lord basically told us to just, leave these niggas alone, man, because they're wicked. But again, our job is to rebuke and to reprove these guys, so that the blood is off of our hands, like it's spoken in the book of Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But, the Lord said that he that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he that is, and he that is filthy, let him be filthy still. Because everyone has a role in this life, man. Now the scriptures talk about many false prophets, that are gone out into the world. So somebody has to play that role, someone has to be that wicked prophet. And just like recently, you had Zabach, he just came and said that, that the mark of the beast is John 3:16, man. Now that's going way the hell off. And Nate is saying, it's talking about small nations and big nations. But nations of who? Nations of people, man. So again, like my point, everyone has their own role, and someone is going to play that role of those wicked ass niggas, those wicked ass prophets. And we believe, that's to be every single camp out there, outside of GMS, outside of the camps, that are pushing, the same doctrine as GMS, man. They're all wicked and they're all going off. Now the Lord, like it tells you in the book of Proverbs 16:4, that the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Now the Lord, he has some wicked ass people that he reserved for the day of evil, because that's their judgment that they have to, serve, man. That's their judgment, that is to come, that they have to deal with. Okay, now I'm gonna get another quick precept, but it just goes to show you that, this is the Lord's movie, man. And the Lord, he's a balanced power, man. He has wicked and righteous prophets out here. Okay, now this is the book of Job, chapter 21, verse 30. It says that the day, Salakia, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. It says they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Now the Lord, he specifically reserved some wicked people for the day of destruction. Now that goes, it also talks about the so-called white man, but the Lord also has 2/3 of the nation Israel that are going to be destroyed. So those niggas are also wicked, and the Lord specifically reserved them for the day of destruction. Reason why is because they're wicked and they gotta die on this side, man. Okay, now it goes on to say what? It says they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Now they're gonna, there's gonna come a time where these guys, the Lord is going to, basically, the Lord is going to judge them, and it's going to be a great judgment, man. Why? It's because they're leading the flock of the nation of Israel astray. Okay, but again, man, we know that the Lord, what he does is, the Lord only chose the elect. So this is just like a stumbling block. We know that these guys are filthy, and they're wicked, and the Lord told us to just, like the very first precept that I read from Revelation, 22, and he that is filthy, let him be filthy still, right? But, at the end of the day, man, our job is to rebuke these guys and to show them that they're going off, so that the blood is off of our hands. I'm gonna get the book of Proverbs, which, it goes on and it explains more. Okay, now bear with me, Salakia. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 21. It says, for the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he pondereth all his goings. Now Yahweh Shai You know, he's the one that's making these guys go off like that, man. But in their hearts, they sincerely believe that they're doing the right thing. But again, man, it just goes to show that the Lord is the one that, you know, the Lord is in control of everything, and he's the one, you know, that are making them go off so that he can judge them at the end. You know, at the end of the day, it's still righteousness in the eyes of Yahweh Shai. You know what you know the Lord is doing, man. Okay, now it says what it says: for the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, and he pondereth all his goings. Yahweh Shai is the one that directs all of your steps, man. Okay, now I'm going back, you know, how the apostles, you know, they rebuke these guys and they show them that they're going off, but there's gonna come a time where there's gonna come a time where the Lord is going to open their eyes and to show them that, you know, that they fucked up, you know, and that they should have listened, you know, to the apostles of Great Millstone, man. Okay, now this is the book of Proverbs chapter 5 verse 12, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof. That's exactly it, man. You know, we reproof these guys and we tell them, you know, that they're going off, but they hate instructions, man, because they're fucking proud and they think that they got the truth. You know, but the Lord did not give them the truth, man. The Lord gave the truth to the men of Great Millstone, man, you know, beginning with the apostles, you know, down to the Akim. Okay, and it says, verse 13, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers. Now they have not obeyed, you know, Salakia, you know, now, you know, these people, you know, Zabach, Nate, you know, and all the other wicked camps, you know, they have not obeyed the voice of their teachers, and their teachers right now should be the men of Great Millstone, beginning with the apostles, man. You know, and it says what? Nor inclined mine ears to them that instructed me. You know, so these guys don't listen, man. They do not listen, and the Lord has a special judgment for them, man. Okay, you know, that is just basic, and it basically just gets to the point, man. Okay, and it says, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. That's exactly how we see you guys, man. You're a bunch of wicked, evil men. Okay, and Yahweh Shai, you know, he is going to show you his power very, very soon, man. Okay, now there's another